Imagine carrying a dream so vivid you can almost touch it. Not just a passing wish, but a vision that follows you everywhere. It shows up when you're commuting to work, when you're lying awake at night, when you're staring out the window, wondering what life could become. But every time that dream rises, another voice rises with it, a quiet one. It whispers things like, "You're not ready. Someone else can do this better. Don't embarrass yourself." And before you know it, the dream that once felt alive starts fading into the background. Not because it wasn't possible, but because doubt convinced you not to try. This is the story of someone who almost let that voice win. Daniel was 31 years old and worked as a barista in a busy cafe tucked between office buildings. He made great coffee, customers liked him, his coworkers said he had a calming presence. But Daniel carried a secret ambition that almost no one knew about. He wanted to become a storyteller. Not the kind who simply wrote words on a page. Daniel imagined creating animated stories, short films that could inspire people, make them laugh, and remind them that life could be bigger than their circumstances. His laptop was filled with unfinished scripts, character sketches, and half-built storyboards. Ideas about courage, about second chances, about ordinary people discovering something extraordinary inside themselves. But those ideas rarely made it past the planning stage, because every time Daniel sat down to work on them, that voice returned. "Who do you think you are?" Years earlier, Daniel had shown one of his animation ideas to a professor during a short creative workshop. The professor barely glanced at it, then said something that stuck like glue. "You have imagination, but this industry is extremely competitive. Most people never make it." It wasn't meant to destroy him, but Daniel heard something very different. "You probably won't make it." From that moment on, the voice moved in. Every idea felt risky. Every attempt felt embarrassing before it even began. So Daniel did what many people do. He stayed busy. He worked more shifts. He watched successful creators online. He told himself he would start when the time felt right, but the right time never came. One rainy night, Daniel closed the cafe late. He walked home, tired, soaked, and frustrated. When he opened his laptop that evening and looked at the unfinished animation project he'd been working on for nearly 2 years, something inside him snapped. He hovered over the delete button. Maybe the voice was right. Maybe the stream was childish. Maybe he should just accept the life he had and stop pretending he could build something bigger. His finger moved toward the key. Then his phone buzzed. A message from his younger sister. It was a simple text. "Hey, I showed your old cartoon to my kids today. They watched it 3 times. When are you making more?" Daniel froze. 3 times. Kids who didn't care about industry competition or professional polish, or whether he was good enough. They just loved the story. And suddenly he realized something. He had been measuring his dream by the wrong voices. The next morning, Daniel didn't wake up transformed. He didn't suddenly feel fearless. The voice was still there. But instead of trying to silence it completely, he decided to outwork it just a little. 1 hour a day. That was the rule. No pressure to create something perfect, no expectations of success, just 1 hour of progress. Some days that hour produced only a rough sketch. Other days it produced a new character. Sometimes it produced nothing but frustration. But something surprising began happening. The more Daniel showed up, the quieter the voice became. A few weeks later, Daniel joined an online community of beginning animators. Sharing his work felt terrifying. The old voice screamed, "They're going to laugh." But they didn't. Instead, people offered suggestions, encouragement, and ideas. One animator said something Daniel never forgot. Nobody starts confident. Confidence comes from finishing things. So Daniel kept going, hour by hour, scene by scene, frame by frame. 9 months later, Daniel uploaded his first short animated story online. It wasn't perfect. The animation was simple. The sound design was rough. But the story was honest. It was about a small bird afraid to leave the branch it had always known. The video didn't go viral, but something far more important happened. People connected with it. Comments started appearing. "I needed this today. This reminds me of my life. Please make more stories like this." Daniel stared at the screen, stunned. The dream he had nearly deleted was now real. Today, Daniel still hears that voice sometimes, especially when he begins a new project. Self-doubt doesn't disappear forever, but it loses its authority because Daniel discovered something powerful. Doubt grows when we stay still, but it weakens when we move, even slowly, even imperfectly. The greatest dreams are rarely destroyed by failure. They're stolen quietly by hesitation, by comparison, by that small inner voice convincing us we shouldn't even try. But every person who has ever built something meaningful faced the same whisper. The difference? They kept moving anyway. So if there's a dream sitting quietly in your life right now, don't wait until you feel fearless. Start small. Start messy. Start today. Because the only thing stronger than self-doubt is consistent action. If this story spoke to you, take a second to like the video and subscribe for more stories about overcoming the battles we fight inside. And I'd love to hear from you. What dream has self-doubt tried to talk you out of? Drop it in the comments. You might be surprised how many people here are fighting the exact same voice. And who knows, today might be the day you finally stop listening to it.